Hare Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.24, there's a beautiful verse which says that out of the three gunas, tamaguna, rajoguna and sattva guna is very favorable for spiritual cultivation. Therefore it says, rajastastu tamastasmat yat sattvam brahma darshanam, it says. Yat sattvam brahma darshanam means in the platform of sattva, one can have brahma darshan or the realization of the absolute truth. Now an example is given in that verse. When you break a branch of a tree and bring it to your kitchen, it is a wet branch. So it is very difficult to directly use it for cooking. So that is compared to tamaguna. And when there is a smoke in the log of wood, that is compared to rajoguna. When there is a fire in the log of wood, that is compared to sattva. That means log of wood, smoky wood, fiery wood. These three are compared to tamaguna, rajoguna and sattva. You will see that in tamaguna, there is no activity. The log of wood is wet. So even if you put it in the furnace, there is no activity there. Practically dead. When there is a smoke, there is some hope. Which means in rajoguna some activity starts. For example, you see rats live in holes, birds live in nests, lions live in caves. They live in a very simple manner. But man appears to be very advanced by his activity. You can see they have made this NRA buildings, tall skyscraper buildings. You can see that. But that activity is not what is appreciated in the Shastra, because the scripture says that any activity is not glorified. For that matter, monkey is also jumping. You can see that. A dog is also jumping on the road. That activity is not activity. On the other hand, when one does some activity which actually is elevating spiritually, then it is considered a good activity. Now, what is spiritual elevation? Any spiritual activity that is liberating to the soul from this material tabernacle, that is glorious activity. For example, when you, when a bird is released from a cage and let to fly in the free sky, that is actually liberation for the bird. Similarly, our activities should be not binding but liberating. Those activities are glorified in the scriptures. In fact, that is actually the purpose of any religion, to free you more and more as you go higher and higher, to liberate you and bring you back to your original position. Yat sattvam brahma darshanam. In the brahma darshan also, you begin with param jyoti, you see the bright light. And then you understand sarva bhuta guha vasam. The antaryami are the super soul residing in the heart of all living beings. Then bhagavantam adokshajam. Then you understand the Lord of six opulences, who is beyond the range of the material senses, who is only perceived through love. So these are all increasing platforms of realization in the sattva. That's sattvam brahma darshanam. Otherwise, there are so many people doing so many activities. All activities are not glorified. There are two types of activities: mundane activity and religious activity. Mundane activity is eating, sleeping, mating, defending, making bigger hotels, tall towers, motor cars, making bullets and guns for defending. So none of this is considered any great advancement in the path of spirituality. But the spiritual, in the religious path also, there are people worshipping Durga, Shiva, Ganesha for so many material benefits. So those activities are also binding activities. Or there are even people reciting from Bhagavatam, but for pampering the well-to-do people. There are so many people reciting Bhagavatam for 7 days, just manoranjan. It's more of fun. So that is not liberating. So the test for any spiritual activity is the audience to whom you are addressing to. Are they understanding that they have to get out of this material body and go back home? Back to Godhead. If that is what you are teaching the people for, then you are actually liberating them. You also get liberated, they also get liberated. That is actually, in Sattva also, that is glorified. So, people who are religious, going to different demigods for material benefits, they are in Rajaguna. People who are completely dull like two-legged animals, those who don't do any religious activity, they are in Tamaguna. So there is Tamaguna, there is Rajaguna. So we want to come to Sattva-guna. In Sattva-guna also there are two aspirations of many people. Purification of heart and liberation from cycle of birth and death, which is any average Brahmana's aspiration. Let me purify my heart and cleanse my impure heart and let me get liberated out of this body. But those who become Vaishnavas, they come to the platform of love of God. Where you awaken love for God, you don't have any aspiration. You are ready to, Mama Janmani Janmani Ishware Bhavatat Bhakti Rahaitu Kitvai. My dear Lord, you can put me in heaven or hell. You can make me take birth again and again. Wherever you want me to serve you, I am your servant alone. I have no other identity. I am not only your servant, I am servant of your devotees. So this platform of pure love is the highest attainment a jiva can return back to. Muktir hintva anyatha arupam swarupena vyavasthiti. We have to become reinstated in our eternal swarupa of this being Gopi Bhartu Padakamali or Dasa Dasanudas. So the chanting of the holy name can bring us to the platform, but we should remember this point that like a dry wood, the wet wood, smoky wood, fiery wood. So we should be at least like fiery wood. So when you become like fiery wood, then we can awaken realization of the absolute truth. Therefore, our life should be so molded that love of God should be the main commodity of exchange with the Supreme Lord. And compassion towards all living entities. And working for their spiritual welfare of liberating them and sending them back to Godhead. That should be our prime activity. Then we are rightly situated and we are heading back home, back to Godhead. And the prime process in that attainment is the chanting of the holy name and hearing of the holy fame of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, Bhagavat Katha and Krishna Kirtan. These two are the prime activities which can awaken such type of love that we are talking about, pure love for God. So the daily activity is a glorious opportunity for us to take our mind away from the clutter of the matter, material absorption, and sit and call out the holy name and gradually awaken our innate love that is hidden in our own hearts. Harinam Prabhu Ki. Let's offer our humble obeisances and to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are just like desert trees or ocean of mercy, full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti Vaishnava vrinda ki, Vaishnava Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki, Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki.